Closed captioning for the Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh yeah, Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on the Casey Malone Show.
Today we meet the painter behind public art and signage throughout the valley. And I prepare a mint pesto tart. But first, an update on the growth at West Wind Urban Ag in Sharon. We're back at West Wind Urban Ag, and you remember Rob? Well, he reached out, and there is a lot more going on. I mean, this place is full. From 2 years ago,
Yep.
you have done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, when you were here, we were 2/7 planted, and now we're 7/7 planted. So welcome back.
What else are you growing? I mean, before you were really limited.
Yeah.
And now you are loaded for bear. What have you expanded with?
Yeah, so I mean, we tested out 77 varieties of lettuce, and we landed on one called Lalique lettuce. So about 90% of the farm is Lalique lettuce.
How much do you grow a week?
We're at about 1,300 pounds a week.
Wow.
Just of the Lalique lettuce.
So what herbs are we talking now?
Oh man, we've got cilantro, basil, oregano, parsley, mint. We play around with some bok choy and some cabbage. Supply and demand will grow what people want us to grow. We're starting to play around with some baby vegetables like carrots and radishes and things like that.
So you've got an educational.
We do, yeah. We finished the classroom from when you were here last time, so we can not only teach some of the schools, but we want to bring in some of the community members and show them what we're doing, show them how to grow hydroponics or aquaponics at home. We go out to the farmers markets just like the traditional farmers, and then we really try to promote what we're doing through the winter. So because we can grow year round, we're really trying to give them a place to come shop year round. So
Now there's some of the high schools nearby that are getting grants to put this kind of thing in their schools.
yeah,
right?
like New Wilmington, Reynolds, Jamestown, there's a few schools that have some small kits that are just kind of showing the science behind it. We've had the Department of Ag and a couple businesses say, how can we take and commercialize this? So, education's great, but can we create revenue for the school?
How much more can we expand?
So we're in 25,000 square feet. We just finished 4,000 square feet in the back, and then we have another 70,000 square feet in the second and third floor above us.
How many places are like this in the country?
my-
There cannot be that many.
Yeah,
at
to my
all.
knowledge, we're one of the only fully indoor aquaponics farms in the state. And most of the aquaponics farms I've been around are in greenhouses.
I mean, this is cool, and it's right here in downtown Sharon.
Downtown Sharon.
I mean, the farm. So these little seedlings, how long did it take for them to get to this?
So this
stage?
is 21 days. So this is
Okay.
April 1st, March. So this from here is 4 days difference. So this is 4 days growth from here to here.
Really?
Here's another 4 days from here to here. And then once it's ready to transplant, it'll go in. So remember that methodical process we talked
Right.
about. We have a 3-day germination, 7 days in the seedling rack, 7 days in here, 11 days here, 13 days in the DWC to complete a one cycle of lettuce.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're ready to go.
Wow. So these are all ready to sell.
Yep, so what Tina will do is she'll actually pull some racks, bring them over so that way they're chest height. She's harvesting them, doing it in final inspection. She'll put them into the totes. We do 9-pound totes. We put them in the cooler. We like them to be in the cooler for a day or two because the cold is good for the lettuce.
What's the vertical? Whoa.
So these are 200 watt, and then above our beds we have 550 watt. But we get to run them at 50% their max capacity. So I'm really running a 200 watt. So we're saving 30 to 50% in our energy costs. We seed 4 trays every day. So this is 1 day's worth of seeding just for the lettuce. So it's just a little bit easier to see, right?
That will give us
That'll give
a
you
Lalique head of lettuce. And what is this?
kale. We got some cilantro poking up between there. But this is a hydroponic hybrid kale. So you get 2 colors, and it's a baby kale.
Right.
So like that's ready to go. So every day or once a week, we'll come in and we'll harvest the kale down to a nub, and in 5 days it's back like this, ready to go. We got bok choy, that's Ed's favorite.
Right there.
Ed at Great Depths loves his bok choy, so we actually started growing that for him. And then during the farmers market, there's a couple people in Sharon that love it. So.
And then this is the cilantro.
So that's cilantro. Ready? Look. How about a radish?
No way. Can I eat it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's never been touched with nothing.
Wow.
That's a daikon radish, and it's like 3 weeks from seed. So koi have always been a hobby of mine, like just pretty much like everything else.
Okay.
So when we decided that we were looking to make the fish a revenue source to at least pay for its food.
Exactly.
We can get it to at least pay for the food, well then we've controlled all of our input costs. So koi and goldfish are the next biggest food producers. So I found a company out of Florida, Blackwater Koi, and this was our first batch of koi we got in about 6 months ago.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
And that is for an outdoor pond.
Yep.
And even in the winter,
Yep.
they're fine.
Yeah, so koi is a cold hardy fish. So as long as they have 2 to 3 feet of water, there's enough oxygen in the water that even if it freezes to a solid brick of ice, as long as they don't have food in their belly, they'll live through the winter. And then when it thaws out, they start eating again, they are right back. So the bigger the tank, or the bigger the pond, or the bigger the habitat, the bigger the fish.
Wow. So we have no idea what color they'll become.
So it's crazy. The more I learn about these koi, it's crazy. So if you see how small they are, you can see the color.
Right.
That color will actually disappear, and there's color underneath them that will reappear.
And that will be the
That'll
true
be
color.
what the true colors are. So like when koi breeders are breeding them, they sort them. And they'll sit there and look through their skin, and if they can see a little bit of orange and a little bit of
Right.
yellow, that's what they're really looking for. And then those are the ones they'll keep.
Those are more valuable. Should I put it all in here? They're a little more shy, huh?
Yeah, again, koi have a personality. So once they get spooked, they'll kind of hang out at the bottom. But yeah, there's 122 koi in here. That's what produces enough nutrients for our plants.
The growth at Westwind Urban Ag is stunning, and the addition of koi fish helps support the expansion for more enclosed acres of farmland right in downtown Sharon.
The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
This is Senior Solutions, brought to you by the Reese family, the owners of Briarfield Healthcare Centers. This new series will explain care programs available to your family. Right now, we're at Briarfield Place in Boardman. Now, this is just one of your skilled nursing facilities.
That's correct. The other 2 are located in Austintown, Briarfield at Ashley Circle and Briarfield Manor.
What exactly is skilled nursing? What does that offer?
Skilled nursing offers 24-hour nursing care, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, wound care, and IV therapy.
So it can be long-term or short-term.
That's correct. All 3 of our facilities provide short-term rehab services as well as long-term care for those residents who need to remain there.
Briarfield knows you have lots of questions, and they have the answers. With Senior Solutions, you'll have a clear understanding of Briarfield's care programs.
GABA Camp is open year-round for adults with disabilities and their families. GABA Camp is compliant with the ADA for accessibility. A paved wheelchair path provides scenic and recreational opportunities for everyone. We still have much more to offer. GABA Camp is a 501c3 for the betterment of people with intellectual, physical, and developmental disabilities from all walks of life. Donate now. Your help is needed. Giving is living.
Welcome to Kamar Jewelers, a third-generation, family-owned business run by my brother, Rob, and I. We share a passion for beautiful jewelry and strive to help everyone find the perfect piece. From life celebrations to everyday moments, we've been honored to be a part of your story. Our collection ranges from unique natural diamonds to affordable styles, offering something for everyone. Come visit us anytime at Kamara Jewelers, where every piece tells a story.
Get real, get Kamara.
At Window World, family is the heart of our business.
And we're committed to giving you the family treatment too.
From your free estimate to installation and long after, whether replacing windows, entry doors, or the siding you've dreamed of.
We promise to treat your home like it's our own.
It's what we've stood behind for all these years, and for years to come, we'll continue to say,
not only do we stand behind our windows, we stand on them.
I'm Elizabeth Bernard. For more than 30 years, I've provided our Valley with sound legal advice. My associate Jennifer Rigetti and I will be your legal representatives if you're involved in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident. Don't try to handle it yourself. We'll navigate the red tape of dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the obstacles that you'll face. Remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases, and hiring a lawyer does not mean you have to go to court.
Call attorney Elizabeth Bernard, local legal experience for more than 30 years.
You better come on in my kitchen.
Today I'm going to make a mint pesto tart. Great little appetizer, nice little side dish. You know how invasive mint is. Always put it in a pot. Don't put it in the ground. Rob over at Westwind, he had the right idea, growing it vertically. And that way it doesn't spread and take over the rest of the gardens. So I'm using it. It's really good in iced teas, cocktails, and in a pesto. So what I'm going to do is use a puff pastry that I got in the freezer section, and we'll make the pesto, get it baked up, and it is a delicious treat. So let's go over the ingredients. For this recipe, you'll need 1 sheet of puff pastry thawed, 1.5 cup mint leaves, 1 cup of parsley leaves, 1/4 cup toasted chopped walnuts, juice and zest from 1 lemon, salt and pepper, 1/4 cup extra virgin olive oil, and 1/2 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Well, you know, I really don't know how to bake very well, and especially when it comes to dough. So I bought this puff pastry and I let it thaw, and I put it on a nice floured surface, and I just used the rolling pin and stretched it out a little bit so it's all about the same thickness. And what I'm going to do is, because it does puff up, you have to make just like a little border to keep your ingredients in. There you go. Isn't that pretty? So fancy. And then just make sure you put your fork through it so you don't get big bubbles when you try to load it up with the ingredients. I preheated the oven to 400 degrees using a parchment lined sheet here. I'm going to put this all bare in the oven for 20 minutes. And while that bakes, we will get the pesto going. So make sure you use the food processor with the blade attachment. And I'm going to put in the parsley because that mellows out a little bit of the mint, and then the mint and the garlic, walnuts, and you could use any kind of nut. You could use almond, pine nuts, whatever you feel like. So I don't think that'll make a big difference. And this is the brightener, the lemon juice and the zest. So what we're gonna do is get that going. So while this is happening, down the tube, I will put the olive oil. It's between 1/4 and 1/3 of a cup. You gotta eyeball it, see what's happening. You don't want it too runny, but you do want it to have a little bit, yeah, let's put a little bit more in, and this will be done. Yeah, this is the consistency you want. Right there. See, it's smooth, and it has, yeah, just a little bit of movement. It's perfect. And now what I'm going to do is taste it. You notice I didn't put any salt or pepper in yet. Definitely need some salt and pepper. So back in it's gonna go about a half teaspoon, and then a couple grinds. Get this all mixed. And we're just waiting for the puff pastry. The dough is out of the oven, first phase. Now, I was gabbing a lot and talking, and I let the dough get a little warm so it got really puffy, and I just kind of deflated it a little. So do try to put that on when it's a little more chilled. Now, I am going to add this beautiful pesto. And then it needs a little nuttiness, right? Because I don't think the walnuts are gonna do it. And that is where Parmesan comes in. And you just put this, oh, beautiful. This goes back into the oven for another 20 minutes, and it is done. It is ready to be eaten. So this is it, all done. Not one of my prettier little tarts that I've made, but it'll taste good. Add a little bit, a drizzle of olive oil. And I like to pass this at the table because I think this works really well with the crushed red pepper. A little bit of a punch. So I'm just gonna, you know, cut a little piece. I do like the crust. All right, we'll take a little bite here. Looks really good. Crust is perfect. Puff pastry is really good. And it's easy, and you know, I'm not a dough maker, so it's perfect. But you saw how this comes together. You can make any additions. Pesto's good on different cheeses, great on goat cheese or a brie. And of course, a mint pesto pasta would be delicious. Go to my website, CaseyMaloneShow.com. Look for the mint pesto tart. The mint pesto is excellent. A lot of other applications. You're really gonna like it. And I think a nice dry Pinot Grigio is called for. It is delicious. Cheers.
The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
Hi, I'm John Stanko.
And I'm Robbie Fellman from Boardman Subaru, home of the 2026 Subaru Forester Hybrid and Crosstrek Hybrid.
Two of the most fuel-efficient Subarus ever, with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive and up to 40% better city fuel economy than gas models.
All from Subaru, the brand rated #1 in safety, product quality, and dependability.
Come test drive the new Crosstrek Hybrid or Forester Hybrid today.
Only at Boardman Subaru, just south of Route 224 on South Avenue.
Locally sourced is good, whether it's ingredients or a bank, and that's why my bank is Farmers National Bank. Since 1887, Farmers has remained rock solid through every economic condition. Having a bank with a history of safety, soundness, and conservative management is a must. It all boils down to this. You need a bank that will help you reach your goals. I do too, and Farmers is mine. Farmers National Bank, rock solid.
You won't go home hungry from Carmela's. Come see us for family-inspired Italian favorites. We're open 6 days a week for lunch and dinner. Carmela's Cafe Italian Eatery, just like Grandma used to make, on Western Reserve Road in Boardman.
Well, this is Patrick Malone from Overall Paint Company, and this is his latest creation, the mural down here at WRTA. Pat, this is quite an operation. I mean, you have to get the cherry picker and everything involved.
And rightfully so. I mean, this has been like a cornerstone of this area of downtown for a long time, so it deserves a little facelift and an upgrade, so I'm excited to be the one to do it.
I mean, half of downtown you've painted. We were just talking, I mean, everything around here is your handiwork.
Yes.
And it really is improving downtown, don't you think?
Yeah, I love it. You know, I've always said, like, Youngstown has so much culture. It's bursting at the seams with culture, but for some reason, whether it be economic decline or just not having the funds to do stuff like this, there's not a lot of public art. And for a city with this much culture, we deserve to be outwardly expressing that now on our walls throughout the city. So I love to see this. I hope more artists pop up, more pieces pop up, all that.
You are also, I should mention, a Youngstown firefighter.
Yes, ma'am.
That's by night,
Yeah.
and by day you're an artist. How did this whole thing start? You said you went to the Pittsburgh Art Institute?
Yeah, so I went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, came out, really couldn't find work. So my brother was a Youngstown firefighter at the time, signed up for that, got on the department, and then in my off days, I would help out other firefighters, residential paint, commercial paint, all that kind of stuff. And then over the years, I met Matt from Youngstown Clothing Company.
Right.
And he was opening up a storefront in the Southern Park Mall.
That would have been your first commercial?
Yeah, that was my first one ever. He was like, hey, do you know anyone that could do murals? I said, man, I could give it a try. So I think I did it for like a couple hoodies and t-shirts from Youngstown Clothing Company, but yeah, exactly. So we did it in the back of their storefront, and it was just so good because that place got so much foot traffic, and it started to snowball. Then we did the outside of the mall, and then it kind of, we haven't stopped since then.
Is it all to scale? Like you start with a really small drawing and then you figure it out? Like,
yeah, I mean
the paint needed, the size, I wonder how you figure that all out.
Yeah, it's been like a good, you know, I say like I marry two disciplines, the art discipline and also the commercial painting aspect of it, because knowing that, how to operate a lift, how much paint we need, the primer we need, all that kind of stuff, it's important because this is more of a painting job than it is an art project. Like I would hire a painter before I would hire an artist to work with me because it's just that labor intensive. So yeah, we'll take an image, we'll find the measurements, and we'll scale it up, and then we have multiple different ways of getting it on the building, but yeah.
What is the best kind of paint that will last through, because we've got some severe weather.
Absolutely. All of these paint companies now are making such good exterior paint, but that's what we use. The same stuff you would paint your house with, we're gonna be painting these pieces with, so they withstand the elements for that long. This is satin.
A satin?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, this is a satin
Do you always
sheet.
use a satin?
I like satin the most because it's not, so the more reflective it is, so like a high gloss is gonna withstand the longest, but sometimes it's a lot, you know, especially on like a storefront and something like that high reflectiveness. So I pick something in the middle. I try never to use a matte just because they wear so
Right,
poorly.
the flat paints, and I just don't think they look like it. So satin, I always use satins too. Good to know.
That's the way to go. That's the way to go.
And you started your own company.
Yes, ma'am.
So when did you say, officially, I'm in business?
Well, once we did the mall, the Business Journal covered it, and then that was kind of, that was it. I did all the other stopped all the other side work I was doing and took this on.
How long would something like this take?
It's gonna take 3 days.
How long does a person have to wait if they are waiting for a project? How far out are you?
It just depends the time of year. Obviously, spring, summer, and early fall, we're a lot busier. We're probably a lead time of like 3-4 months. But then in the winter, we cut down to probably a lead time of like 6 weeks. Yeah.
How many murals have you painted so far, do you know?
Well, it's weird because they're not all murals, you know what I mean? I label myself as like a commercial artist, like almost like a sign painter. You know, I do a lot.
You do inside too, not just exterior.
Yeah, and a lot of my stuff is like signage, pre-designed logos, stuff like that. So they're not like artistic murals, but we've done just over 140 pieces now.
Are they all local? Have you left town?
We've gone to Chicago, a couple in Cleveland, and even one in Florida. We did the hot dog shop in Florida.
Do you have a favorite? Which one are you really the most proud of?
The Apollo building is, well, I don't know if I'll ever top that one. I mean, that one took 4.5 months. My first daughter was born right in the middle of it. We used 200 plus gallons of product, over 50 colors. It's just, in a lot of ways, that's like kind of my favorite one, and I think it'll always have a really special place in my heart. I had a lot of creative freedom on that one, and that's anyone that I can have freedom to create something, I always hold closer to the heart. But Tim came to me, the owner of that building, and he basically said, I want to make a statement with this, and I really like the Greek god sculpture aesthetic. Yes. So those basically were my parameters. Kind of like colorful, make a statement, and have some kind of like Greek god sculpture in it. So the Apollo was born, and
it's beautiful. Yeah, no, really, that might be one of my favorites.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, I really like that piece.
In your youth, you know, you've always been artistic. Were you like a good graffiti artist? Could you work with spray paint?
No, I was like my discipline at the Art Institute was industrial design. So everything is like pens, pencils, markers. It wasn't until I started doing the residential painting with the firemen that I learned how to work a brush, a roller, and that kind of stuff. I never painted, but once you learn like the fundamentals of art, they transfer over to different mediums. Yeah, I was never a painter back in the day, but now here I am.
For more information regarding any content from our show, please visit our website, CaseyMaloneShow.com. Your comments and ideas are appreciated. The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.